My Chopper Trust has a small position. We're looking to buy it. I think you have to buy it. This was a remarkable quarter. Don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain, the stock price. Fact is that they are using this new compute for Google Cloud, okay? And David, do you know who LeBron James is?
I do, actually, yes.
And what, you know who that is when it comes to Google?
No.
Okay, so they call Thomas Kurian. Don't call me Tom. Thomas Kurian is the head of cloud.
They call him the LeBron.
He is the LeBron James of cloud. And really? This number was so extraordinary. I am not worried. By the way, Philip Schindler did an amazing job with YouTube. I feel that the Gemini uptake is just rather incredible. I just was dazzled by this call. The analysts have to start catching up with how well they're doing. And then one more thing. It's boring as all get out, and I know David's deeply focused on it. The one big beautiful bill, the bonus depreciation.
Yes.
Just you can just write this stuff off instantly because it is in data center. It's not regular buildings. So this was just brilliant. People don't understand that depreciation makes it so that it was worthwhile to buy this stuff now. And remember, they are controlling it. They're not offloading it to say blew out.
Right. Your point is right. They are building their own.
Yeah, it's so impressive, David.
And they're not leasing from anybody?
No, they're not leasing the stuff.
Right.
They want to have control of it.
For example, we pointed out Meta many times, the Hyperion project,
right.
Over $30 billion there, but they're the lease.
These guys leasing
it.
They control their destiny.
And it doesn't even show up as capex, even though Meta's number is $135 billion, I think, but topped by this one potentially as much as $185 billion number from Alphabet. It is worth putting it in perspective. You already did that, Carl, just pointing out what they were spending only a few years ago. The basics of $185 billion in capex spending that Alphabet may hit this year, doesn't that mean that Nvidia should be up?
Well, the biggest one that they have, and they keep talking about their own, is Broadcom.
Right. They are Broadcom. That's a very good point. I'm glad you raised it. The TPUs at Alphabet, but it shows the demand for compute. I guess my point would be, and while that money specifically may not be going as much to Nvidia chips, although they still buy some, right?
Their mention is a great partner. Nvidia should be up a lot, and so should Broadcom. I mean, you obviously have a NDX that's down, but Broadcom was up to 325 last night.
So the unabated desire to add compute. We heard it yesterday from Lisa Su at AMD saying that even 6 months ago she had no expectation of the acceleration that has taken place, and yet these stocks are sort of biding their time.
But what is Thomas Kurian supposed to say to a customer? I'm sorry, I don't have enough compute. You ought to go over to Amazon Web Services. That's not the way it works. Thomas Kurian, who runs Google Cloud, he is not about to cede the growth that he has, $70 billion, incredible, to Azure and just say, hey, guys, I'm so sorry. There's another company up in the Northwest. It's super. That's not the way it works in Silicon Valley.
So you see this as really, but they are pressing their bets here.
They have to. They have to because they're the winner, and the winner, it's a winner. Look, I happen to think, I know a lot of people disagree with this, but I think it's winner take all, loser take none at this point. I really do, and that's why I think Anthropic won business to business. Well, I think that you have to be in the race. Now, Amazon has retail, and that'll help them, okay? But Azure is the one that I think is the existential crisis.
So you're not all that hot on Microsoft prospects?
Well, I don't. I think Microsoft has a lot of other things that are great, and they have a huge amount of cash. But when I look at, I bring people's attention to Crosby.
Excuse me?
Crosby.
Bing Crosby?
There's only one Bing, and it's Crosby. But he died a long time ago.
All right. I'm sorry. What's
Google
the point?
versus Bing. They see it happening. They see Google versus Bing, and they're doing it again.
Oh, I see Bing.
Oh, my God, they're doing it.
The biggest story of the market seems to be this sell-off in tech. The mega caps, if you look at the performance over 1 week, especially the hyperscalers, and then if you want to put Nvidia into that because they're such a beneficiary of the hyperscaling, they're all down sharply over 1 week. Nvidia and Meta down 10%, as we have, with at least Alphabet's sake, this huge pickup in spending, which has just made investors uneasy. $175 to $185 billion is their outlook for capex in 2026. The street was looking for 115. So they're so far ahead of that as we keep, regurgitating the same conversation. You're spending so much. When is the return on that money?
Well, I mean, the returns are here. And so I do think that to kind of like click on Josh's for a second, while the tech is down 5, if you look within tech, a lot of stocks are down between 15 and 30. So I think that top line down 5 isn't even remotely talking about the pain. But if you listened to Google's or Alphabet's call last night, it was amazing. Like search grew 17%. Their free cash flow is massive. Google Cloud is growing so high, their margins. There was like nothing not to like there. And if you think about it, if you're going to ramp up in a year, isn't this the year to do it when you get 100% depreciation, which then is going to make their free cash flow still look very, very high? And so I think right now we're in the market is very fussy around, to your point, this capex spend. And, you know, Apple is held up very well this week as they don't have the capex spend. But this is also the opportunity, because I do not think that a Claude plugin that you have to give your username and passcodes is all of a sudden going to take all these software stocks down to zero. And so I think Google is a great opportunity. Let it come down here. I mean, it's already rallied back. I think it was down 19 points earlier. This is a great company to own. They are clicking on all metrics. So to me, I think just like accept the market's fussiness around this, look through it, listen to your earnings call. And this is like where you find opportunity, because I totally agree with Josh. Like P&G is like just like running every day. They're growing at 2%. How can I get excited about that when I see actually the real numbers? The spend is big at Google, but so are the profits, Scott. And so no one's wanting to talk about the profits today because the hedge funds just want to take everything down. So just like let it happen, be choosy and be opportunistic.
Shares of Google parent Alphabet under pressure after announcing huge capex projections for the year ahead. Sundar Pichai explained what's driving those costs on the call.
We've been supply constrained even as we've been ramping up our capacity. Obviously, you know, our capex spend this year is an eye towards the future, and you have to keep in mind some of the time horizons are increasing in the supply chain, etc. So we are constantly planning for the long term and working towards that. And obviously, how we close the gap this year is a function of what we have done in the prior years, right? And so there is that time delay to keep in mind.
Just to give viewers a sense of where this has gone, Jim, last few years, 35 billion in 03, 53, 90, now 185.
Is that we saw that great rotation internally of the Mag 7. What do we see? We saw Nvidia profit taking. We also saw Meta profit taking, and they bought the two laggards. If you remember going back to April around the trade tariff lows, that's when Google and Apple were essentially laggards. So that was a great opportunity. 1 year perspective, you're seeing Google up over 60%. And I get excited about where Google can be the tip of the spear moving forward. If you think about just Gemini, you just talked about Gemini, more active users, 750 million users. They're now processing 10 billion tokens per minute. If you don't know what that means, all it means is that they are growing. But the best part about that Gemini vertical, Morgan, is that the serving costs to process those units are down 78% in 1 year. So for a company that just went over $400 billion in revenue for the first time, I get giddy about Google.